Oh, welcome to the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, west of Barcelona. I'm Russ Joy. That is Anthony SanFilippo. Intern Andrew on the ones and twos. Bundy will be joining us a little bit later on. And in about 15 minutes from now, Cindy Stutman will be on to talk about the Flyers Charities Carnival, which oddly enough, I mean, it is kind of shocking. It feels very early this year. Takes place down here at the Xfinity Mobile Arena on Sunday, so we'll be getting into all that. Of course,
assuming we aren't snowed out again.
That is correct. It's apparently going to be more snow coming because the near foot that we got wasn't enough. Flyers Islanders tonight, a big game. The Islanders are 5-4-1 in their last 10 games. They're losers of 2 straight. The Flyers, of course, coming off a somewhat shocking 7-3 win over the Colorado Avalanche. Only the Avalanche's second loss in regulation at home this season. We'll see if Owen Tippett, coming off a hat trick, can build on the momentum. Can Matvei Michkov, who had 2 goals and some dazzling moves in the offensive zone in the last game, can he keep it going? Can Sam Ersson keep this team competitive until the impending return of Darth Vladar? All that and more tonight on the Press Row Show.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about tonight, and we're going to squeeze it all into a half hour. So, the first thing is, Russ, if you go back to the last time we were together on Snow the Goalie Radio on Wednesday, was coming off of the unfathomable loss in Utah where they had the game won and then all of a sudden they didn't.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they beat Colorado, and it changes the whole tenor of that trip. Like, it really does.
Yep.
Like, they get 5 out of 6 points on a trip that we thought they were going to get 0.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's crazy to think, if they lose that game to Colorado and they come away with 3, you go, meh. Right? Like,
yep.
Meh. Did they really stem the tide? Oh, they stemmed the tide, all right. And it was so important to do it that way. Here they are coming into this game, a very big game against the Islanders tonight. Unfortunately, not enough people are going to be here to see it because there's no traffic.
Still a snow emergency.
Yeah, still emergency
in
in the city. Nobody, there's nobody out there on the roads. I would imagine this will be less than half filled tonight.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, less than half.
I think a quarter filled would honestly be like a positive tonight.
There wasn't even people trying to get down here.
I compared the drive in from where I'm at.
Yeah.
I said I haven't had a drive that easy since COVID.
Yeah.
And then I looked, it's first responders night. And I was like, there's something oddly apropos about
it.
But it was the easiest drive I've had in, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years.
But it's such a big game for the Flyers. We always look at pockets of games, right? And, we can look at this game individually because it's that big. If Flyers win tonight, they are back in a playoff spot.
Yep.
And not just a wild card spot. They would be back into 3rd place in the Metropolitan Division, which is unbelievable since they had lost 6 in a row, right?
Yep.
Like
6 in a row, 7 and 8. Yeah. I mean, they were in a bad spot.
They will have stemmed that and kind of, okay, can't have it happen again, but okay, we survived it if they win this game tonight. So it's a huge game. Unfortunately, not going to be a lot of people here to see it. But there's a lot to talk about from the Avalanche game. Like, and you mentioned Owen Tippett off the top. He has the hat trick. He has a 4-point game, second career hat trick, right? All good and all that. But if you go back and look at the way Tippett's been playing, it goes back a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like he's actually, we rip Tippett all the time.
I
right?
left the country and he started playing well.
Right.
Some guys just perform better.
We do, and sometimes maybe I think a little unfairly because he is I think the frustration with Tippett is the kind of player that he should be because he's got size, he's got power skating, and he's fast as can be. He's got a good shot, right? Like he should be a prolific 30 to 35 goal scorer every season, right? And the fact that he doesn't quite get there is, I think, what the frustration is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I said on my show today that, like, if Tippett, let's say Tippett's a 30-goal scorer, right? In an ideal world, you're able to kind of spread that love across, like, let's say 24, 25 games you allow for a few multi-goal games.
Yeah.
You're pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
The problem is that it feels like he scores 30 goals in, like, 16 games. Like, there are a bunch of multi-goal efforts, like a hat trick night, and then he'll go 7 or 8 games where he can't hit the bright side of a barn, and you go, that's the frustration.
Sure.
It's feast or famine, where, like, if he were a more consistent scorer across a wider swath of games, I think the thought around him would be very different.
Yeah, but he's been one of their better players for the last month. And you know what's funny? And I wrote about this the other day. Yesterday, as a matter of fact. And I know they've only been together for 122 minutes, so we're not talking about a big sample size here. It's kind of a small sample, but it is 15 games. Did you know that the line of Denver Barkey, Sean Couturier, and Owen Tippett have the second best expected goals as a line in the NHL at 69%, behind only one other line, which was at 69.1? Isn't that? I think it's at minimum of 100 minutes.
You're going to get the Twitter trolls really worked up.
I'm just saying, it was kind of weird. Like, I had no idea. I looked at that, I was like, wow. How about that?
Somebody's trying to rile up the Twitter trolls.
How about that?
Not me.
Totally. So, part of me wants...
we'll see how that works out. I mean,
part of me wants to say that Barkey, who also had a great game against Colorado,
did,
right?
Yeah.
Has been, since he's gotten to the team, it's kind of opened up Owen Tippett.
Yeah.
Because of the small area plays that he makes and his hockey IQ. He's not piling up points or things like that, but he's helping with breakouts, and it gets Tippett going in the right direction down ice.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that there's a little bit of something there.
Well, I think, and remember, that's been the frustration a lot of this year is like, it feels like Tippett has needed the perfect storm of line mates in order to be unlocked, and you start going, well, of course, if you play with a Trevor Zegras, like everybody plays better when they play with Trevor Zegras, right? But the idea here is if you can get this thing working, I mean, I know that there's a large segment of, I don't even know how large the segment is, but there's a vocal segment of Flyers fans that are convinced that like Sean Couturier is the spawn of Satan, that he's the worst player ever, and that, you know, he's just a microcosm of a failed era of Flyers hockey. And then the rest of us look at it and say, is he fleet of foot? No. Is he, by any stretch, a super dynamic player at this point? No. Is he a competent NHL center? Yes. And in the right role, can he still be an effective two-way center for this team? Yes.
Yeah.
So if you find guys who can benefit from that and can match his level of, I would still say he's one of the smartest players on the team, smartest hockey IQ.
Yes.
If you have two guys who can match that or can feed off of that, you have a recipe for success. Barkey is just a pit bull. He is like a chihuahua. He's just all over the place, right?
Yeah.
There could be some good learnings for Tippett playing with Couturier. And if you start to figure out a way to use that elite speed and to maybe hone in that shot that a lot of people believe is a good one, maybe it will unlock Tippett long term.
Yeah, and one of the other criticisms that has always been about Tippett is, you know, being a bigger guy, he doesn't play physical enough. He's second on the team in hits in the last month. So there's a little bit of that in his. Now, I'm not saying he's out there, you know.
He's not mucking and grinding.
Right. But that shows that he's at least going into the corner to get a puck, winning 50-50 back. Like, their hits, those count, right? I mean, they're not big hits. They're not, you know, highlight reel hits, but they're hits that are creating offensive chances. And that's what the expected goals is, right? Obviously, they got to finish. Expected goals are not real goals, right? You know, I'm not a huge fan of it, but what it does do is it does show opportunity, right? And that line is creating opportunity. So that's a really good thing. It was Mishkov's best game in a while.
Yeah.
And I know he had 7 shots the game before. It still was not a great game because a lot of those shots were from. I do think that they weren't high quality.
I think that when you start to see him firing the puck more confidently, though, that's kind of like the pre-indicator that he's coming out of whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so when you see him taking 7 shots or whatever, and it's from all different points on the ice, that to me is a guy who's starting to find that confidence again. The difference between like him taking those shots from all over the ice versus like a Tippett or someone else is it's not a desperation thing. It's almost as if he's picking his spots. He's trying to figure things out on the fly. And then last game, there's that beautiful play in the Colorado end where he goes end-to-end on the blue line, right? And he's carrying it through 2 different players. He's weaving through. He looks dynamic. He looks like that guy that we saw last season. There was extra pep in his step. It felt like that confidence that maybe has been not kind of lacking a little bit this year. It felt like he was kind of back on track.
There were 2 really big plays that I thought that he made. Obviously, the pass to Barkey on his goal is a really pretty pass. It's a saucer. You know, it gets it a little bit off the ice and puts it right on his blade for a shot. I know that's on the power play, so you have a little bit more room on the ice. But the tip goal where he tips it in.
Yeah.
Where he gets to on the ice.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying he gets to a hard area.
Yep.
He gets to an area that not a lot of forwards like to go to, and he gets there and he gets rewarded for that. And that, to me, that's another good sign. Even if he doesn't score there, let's say the goalie makes the save there, right? The fact that he even went there and made that play is what you should look at as the positive.
Well, and it certainly resonated with his coach because after the game, I mean, I wouldn't say that Tocchet was like effusive in the praise, but there was a lot of praise and by name.
Yeah.
Right. And so you start to wonder, all right, are we getting to that point where the player is earning the trust of the coach a little bit more? And, I'll be interested to see what his time on ice looks like tonight. I mean, listen, it's no secret. Like the Islanders are going to end up on the power play.
Yeah.
It's going to limit his opportunities, yada, yada, yada. It'll be interesting to see how much he plays tonight. It'll be interesting to see which line he's on. It'll be interesting to see, are the coach and the player aligned? Will that bear fruit tonight? We shall see.
Yeah. And the thing of it is I think I always remind you, don't always go by the time, go by the shift count.
Sure.
As long as he's at 20 shifts, he's taking a regular shift, right? Because he doesn't kill penalties.
Yeah.
Right. So penalties always kind of throw everything off. But if he's taking 20 shifts, if that equates to 14 and a half minutes, if that equates to 16 and a half minutes, whatever
you're feeling pretty good
it
about
equates to, as long as he's taking 20 shifts, you're happy with
Yep.
him taking a regular turn.
It's a Doug Glatt jersey.
Yeah, it is.
That is. Facts.
It is.
Every time I yell that at somebody who's wearing one of the jerseys, it's like they haven't seen the movie.
I know.
It's a violation.
We have 3 minutes before Cindy comes on. The one other person I kind of wanted to talk about from the road trip, and we've killed him, absolutely killed him on this show, and I'm not certain that anybody's killed him more than we have. You, me, Bundy, we all have.
Yeah.
Sam Ersson.
Always been a big Sam Ersson fan.
He was tremendous.
Big believer in Sam.
Tremendous in Vegas. That was his best game of the year, hands down. Wasn't great in Utah, but he wasn't awful.
Wasn't the reason they lost that game.
No, although sometimes you start to go, just make a save, right? None of them were bad goals. But
Sam Ersson didn't fail to put the puck in an empty net.
But the first period against Colorado,
yeah,
they had 15 shots on him in the first period. They give up a goal. That's the game right there.
Big Sam.
That's the game. Yeah, I know he gives up 3 goals, but he ends up with 32 saves. I think that's 914 save percentage or something like that, right? So that's a really, really strong effort by him against a phenomenal team with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So, credit where credit's due. Sam Ersson was
proving a point to haters like you and making people like me who for the longest time have said what a great potential franchise netminder Sam Ersson can be. Look very right. Intern Andrew was on that boat too. So was Bundy. We all believed in Sam.
Yeah. By the way, Ersson in net again tonight. Tocchet said Vladar could have backed up tonight.
Correct.
But he's probably going to start one of the next 2 games. Depends on which one they want him to start in, whether it's Columbus or who's the other team that they're playing on this? Boston, right?
Yeah.
I'll probably start against Boston. Is my guess.
Darth Vladar, man, return.
Risto's supposed to be back in the lineup tonight.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Risto's supposed to be back in the lineup tonight, and Grabenkin back in. I think Hathaway is out.
Hathaway is out.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I ran into Jackie Spiegel was saying that everybody has their own charity they work with, and Hathaway's Heroes is it called Hathaway's Heroes? It's something like that. It's all first responders, and you go, of all the nights, it's first responders night. Though that doesn't dictate whether or not you're in the lineup. But
correct.
Grabenkin back in.
Yeah, correct.
This is an opportunity. I mean, listen, if you're Nikita Grabenkin, you've been in and out of the lineup, you've been out more than in of late. This is your opportunity. Eminem once said, "You only get one shot." This could be it for him.
Yeah.
Not really, but make an impact tonight.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring our guest on. We'll get back to the Islanders here in a little bit. Flyers and Islanders. We should call it the Flylanders game.
The Flylanders?
The Flylanders. I love it. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things I've ever come up with. We are welcoming onto the program, I think,
our most frequent guest.
I was going to say, I'm 95% sure. I am 95% sure she is the number one guest, the most frequent guest on the Press Row Show. Cindy Stutman is here. Cindy, how are you?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good to have you back, Cindy.
I know. This is like a regular stop for me, Carnival time.
Can you believe it's here already?
No.
I know it's a little bit earlier this year.
Yeah.
But I'm stunned it's here
No, it
already.
feels like we just did this, right?
I know. I feel like we just had this conversation, right? This is the 49th Carnival, correct?
Well, it's the 49th anniversary from the first carnival. They're two different things, right? Because we had a couple of years, we had COVID and we had.
Gotcha.
some
Oh,
other
I
things.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
49th anniversary, though.
49th, so next year's a big one.
Next year's the 50th anniversary
Yeah.
carnival. Okay, I see what you're saying because we
Yeah.
had a couple years where there wasn't a carnival
Right.
because of COVID and the like. Okay, that makes sense.
Pretty wild. Over that time, Flyers Charities has raised $34 million. It's a lot of money.
And counting.
Let's get it to 35.
No, you'll get
With your help out there,
Yeah,
you
no,
can
we'll
get Flyers
absolutely
Charities
get there.
to 35 million.
What do we got? We got anything new this year?
We have some new games mixed in, and most importantly, we have some new players that
Yes.
have never been
Yeah.
to a carnival before. So Dan Bladard,
Zegras.
Yeah,
Dvorak. So and Rick Tocchet hasn't been to one in a few decades. So
for a long time.
yeah.
Yes.
So we have some new blood coming back in, and it's going to be exciting. There's people really excited to see those guys.
Always is. It's always something exciting. You guys have these favorite things baskets this year.
Yes.
You want to tell us about those?
Yeah, so we do it every year, as you
Yeah.
guys know. The wives and the girlfriends put these together with the help of the guys. It's all of their favorite things, and there's some really, really cool ones this year. So Tyson Forster's a big fisherman, so he's got a fishing rod and a cooler and some really cool stuff for a day on the lake for fishing. And
Yeah.
What the heck is Dvorak's favorite sauce recipe? I need to know. Like what?
Like it's like a
Is this like
spaghetti
a red?
sauce.
Is this like a red sauce? Like
you
what-
have to buy the basket to have more information.
But is it a red sauce? Is it a barbecue sauce?
FlyersCharities.com. But I'll tell you, the biggest basket I've ever seen is this year is Rick Tocchet's.
Really?
Really?
Enormous.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to.
Is Rick Tocchet in the basket? Is that why it's such a big
He
basket?
is not in the basket, but an iPad is.
Oh,
Wow.
Headlined by an iPad.
That makes
Yeah.
sense though. As a coach, right?
Right.
You're
Right.
doing all your stuff on the iPad.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff in there.
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Can I ask a simple question? Because I lost 10 pounds in Europe, and now I've already stuffed a tubular meat from the press box. I've blown up my diet already.
Yeah.
Is there going to be ice cream again this year? Because there was ice cream last year, and I love ice cream. Are we getting ice cream this year?
Yeah, I'm trying to get past tubular meat, but yeah.
You're not a tubular meat fan? Come on.
I've never heard it.
The hot
phrased
diggity
quite
dogs.
that way.
Well, that's part of it's just our parlance here on the on the.
I
on
know.
the
I
panels.
try and say glizzy. I get yelled at.
That is the worst. For the love of God,
But
you
yes,
saying glizzy is a violation on so many levels.
there is ice cream. It is
Okay.
free. I think I brought you guys some.
Yes.
You did.
last year,
Yes, you
actually.
did. Yes.
We have some sprinkles or jimmies or whatever you call it on them this year. It's
Well,
going to
let's
be really
can we
fun.
debate that really quick? What do you call it?
Well, it's a Philadelphia thing.
I
They're
didn't
called-
ask you. I'm asking Cindy.
I call it jimmies.
So do I.
Now, is that regardless of shape and color, or is
Yeah.
there variance there?
Regardless of shape and color, but you would only ever order rainbow. I don't know who would ever get chocolate.
Right. I'm the
Okay.
same way.
Yeah.
A rainbow Jimmy.
I know some people that call the circular ones. They call those the sprinkles, but the cylindrical ones are.
That's way too.
Are
It's way
Jimmys-
too specific.
I think they're all.
You grow up in
sprinkles.
Philly.
I
They're
think they're all
Jimmys in Philly. That's all.
Jimmy's a friend.
Yeah.
Jimmy's a guy. Sprinkles is the name of like a clown.
And there's a giveaway
Rainbow clown.
too, right? This year.
Yeah, really cool tote bag for the first 5,000 fans in the door. People are always looking for bags to hold all their stuff that they're getting
For
at the
sure.
carnival, and it'll be very useful. And I think that no one's going to want to miss the dunk tank.
I know. Intern Andrew going in the dunk tank for us this year.
He's so excited. I'm
Well, you
thrilled.
see, no, Cindy. So if you recall, 2 years ago, I went in the dunk tank
Oh, I remember.
and I broke my toe.
Allegedly.
Here we go.
I absolutely broke my toe. Absolutely broke my toe. Russ went in last year and complained that his back was bothering him.
I have had back issues ever since. Have I sued Spectacor? I have not.
But Bundy,
Lovely guy
It's
right
for
here.
charity.
yes, Bundy says, hell no, he's never going back in because he did it when he was a player.
Yeah.
Never going back in.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, who are we going to put in this year?
There was one choice.
There was
right?
only one choice.
You're going to have a blast.
I can imagine. Can't wait.
It's going to be great.
Can't wait.
Yes, we're excited.
I think we actually need to do a mobile setup and like send you out there to go push the button.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
I think you should.
No, you can't just put. You have to earn it.
I got to tell you, I thought there was a violation last year, and Cindy, I know you don't control this. I think that there's a certain threshold for how small a child can be when they just get to run up and push it. You're 2 or 3 years old. I don't blame you. You're small. Push the button. When you're 12 and you can't hit the thing, the hell with you. I don't care if it's for charity.
Yeah.
12 years old, there needs to be a little bit of
Can they have a
responsibility.
closer line to throw the ball,
For
Russ?
12 years old?
Well, we're trying to create
Have you
family
met
memories.
12-year-olds?
Right, family memories.
Family
Exactly.
memories.
The shame that the 12-year-old will carry, and then when they come back and they're 13
Yeah.
and they're whizzing the ball at 75 miles per hour, that is a memory that will last
Yeah,
a lifetime.
practice. If a 12-year-old tries to just walk up and hit the thing, I'm hanging on to the side. I'm not going in. You have to earn it. No participation trophies.
He has no idea how this works.
No, he does not.
God love him.
He doesn't. He
It's
doesn't.
cute, though.
Tickets are still available, right?
Tickets are still available, flyerscharities.com. You can get them up until the day of the event on Sunday. But what you do want to do in advance is the sign-in snaps to meet your favorite players.
Yes. And there's still an opportunity on a lot of those, right?
Yeah, there's still some guys that have some available, but every guy will be available for games and things that are on their schedule the night of.
That's awesome.
Or the day of.
That's awesome. And are we crossing our fingers about the weather?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because we are. Because we know Saturday could be affected too. The game. There's an afternoon game on Saturday.
We are manifesting great weather.
We are hoping for great weather. We're
For
hoping.
charity.
Yes, for charity. Just put like a dome over the city for the day,
Let's
and
do
then we'll
We
put,
borrow the Disney
Let's do it.
Dome, you know? I mean, Disney World, it like never rains there, right? There could be a hurricane, and it's still,
Oh, I've been there for a hurricane.
bright and sunny
We'll
on the.
all be here Sunday. It'll be fine.
It'll be
the
fine.
sun will be out.
It'll be fine. I'm rooting for it. I'm
Thank
rooting
you. Me too.
for it. Cindy, you're the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. I'm
Thanks,
sure
guys.
we'll talk to you day of as
Yes,
well.
yep,
Right? I'm
for
sure
sure.
you'll be on our list on day of. That's Cindy Stutman. Thanks. And don't forget, go to flyerscharities.com, right, to get the tickets.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, if you still want to come down this weekend. And there is nothing better than that event.
Yeah.
If you're a hockey fan, it is the coolest event to come and hang out
a lot
with
of
the
fun.
players and the coaches. Hang out with us. Hang out with Cindy. Hang out with everybody down here. It's a really good time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy.
Cindy Stutman. Always a pleasure to have her on the show.
The Charities Carnival is really cool.
It's one of my favorite things in sports that's not sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, just in general. And I know a lot of teams do charitable stuff, and even the Flyers, they have that poker night earlier in the year,
Yeah.
and like there are the the gambling night, and Phillies have a poker night. There's charity auctions all the time. Like, there's all kinds of charitable events that teams have. And I'm not trying to say this with bias, but the one here, it's very unique, and I say that because I've had the opportunity to be behind the scenes with the planning of them when I worked for the team many moons ago.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool buy. Like, it's not like, we have to do this. This is something because we're involved in the organization. The buy-in on doing this for fans, from players to coaches to staff to everybody kind of involved, it's just really cool. And everybody gets
It's a neat opportunity to get to see your favorite players up close and personal.
Yeah. I did.
And I know the Flyers would not like me saying this, but I don't give a damn. Even the guys you don't like, the ones that you boo consistently, the ones that you get annoyed with, you go out and you get to play a game with them or whatever, right? Like, you get to have a human interaction with them, and then all of a sudden, they're like, you know what? I may ride Owen Tippett for going 8 games without a goal, but he was nice and he took a picture with my kids, so now...
Really good dude, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no,
it's very rare that you get to run into these players and have those up-close interactions, and it is a really cool experience.
Yeah, my favorite memory, and then we'll get back to talking about the game, but my favorite memory when I worked for the Flyers is they said to me, hey, can you do one of the tours for us? And I was like, sure, what do you want? They said, well, we want you to do a tour for the press box. Take fans up. They will pay whatever they paid. We'd hop on the elevator, cross our fingers it didn't break down, and come up to the press box, and I would take them through and show everybody where the press sits and where the broadcast booths are and things like that. Well, I talked to a couple people, and I said, can we sneak a couple players up there? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we would show up in the broadcast booth, and they're waiting for a smaller group, not like the 500 fans who were standing in line to get a picture or an autograph.
Yeah.
For like a group of like 15 is one of the players doing the same thing, doing the autographs and photos in a much smaller group setting.
Cool.
So it's like I would rush through everything because I knew what was coming. And so the fans would be like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. And then I don't know if they still do that now, but it was one of my favorite things because I came up with it.
There's a question here from Greg Bondarenko asking, is the Carnival televised or no? And I don't think it's been televised since the year they interviewed Nolan Patrick.
Correct.
Remember that year?
Yes.
Now, is it a total miss? Yes. Is it stupid that they don't televise it? Indeed it is. But that is why you check out the Press Row Show, because we will be down there.
We will be down there live.
We'll have some, I believe, and I asked for confirmation on who we'll have, but
yeah, we still haven't gotten
we usually have players, somebody from the front office, and a coach.
Yeah.
So John Tortorella will not be on the press row show at the Carnival this year. I know that people were waiting for it after last year. To my knowledge, it is not happening.
He was
this
so
year.
close. Like he was 10 feet away. He was 10 feet away. It was like, there he is.
Yeah, he was. Wasn't he like holding a dog or something?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Woof.
Yeah.
If you had like showed up with like a bone and a collar, do you think we could have gotten him to come over and pet your belly?
You do remember. He's not even listening because he took his headphones off. You do remember it was your idea after that whole thing happened because he was trying to get a dog adopted that nobody would adopt.
Yeah, we were going to name it Anthony SanFilippo.
And you wanted me to go adopt the dog.
Yeah.
Like show up and be the surprise person to adopt the dog.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
That silly podcast.
That would have been fun.
And it's so good.
Anyway, back to the game tonight.
Hey, we were doing some actual hockey talk before Cindy came on.
Yes.
You know, how about that? We're capable of doing a little hockey talk on the show. Should we go back to the hockey talk? Do we do the hockey talk?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Russ will sign autographs. I don't know what it'll be worth.
Why the hell would you want my autograph?
Yeah, I can understand. Bundy, that's the other thing. When we do the show at the Carnival, how many times does Bundy get interrupted for an autograph in the middle of the broadcast?
Yeah, but it's good though.
Of course, I agree.
In a good way.
100%. I would never complain. But I'm saying, like, people come up to him. A lot of people come up to him. And then my other favorite was last year. Was it last year? Yes, it was last year when what's his name was on, the assistant coach.
Scott Gordon. No. Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
And everybody thought he was Jonesy.
Everybody thought he was Jonesy, and they were taking pictures of it because they thought he was Jonesy.
Dude, I had a guy who did a double take and thought I was Danny Briere. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I was like, we don't even look remotely alike.
No,
not
even close.
Like we can't go out and stereotype all 5'6", 5'7" Caucasian males with dark hair. It's just not fair.
Yeah, it was good.
Anyway.
It was good. Yeah. So anyway, back to
South said he's looking to get an autograph from all four of us on the Snow the Goalie panel. Rob, if you show up here with a marker and a puck, we'll sign it.
Yeah,
we'll sign your puck.
100%. I mean,
we'll sign your puck, Rob.
We've signed shirts and things and whatever for people. I just don't know what it's worth to have. I think we devalue Bundy's signature when we put our signatures on it.
Not debatable. Someone argue
my signature will be soaking wet.
Well, so they ready for this? Do they request? I could say this and I won't get in trouble. When they ask, because we're trying to find the time that you're going to end up in the thing, and they wanted it like after our broadcast is over. And I said, well, that's no fun.
Well, it's no fun either way.
I said, we want video that we can put on the show. So can we get him earlier? So they're working on getting you a little bit earlier.
The earlier the better.
Yes.
I remember last year I campaigned. I was number 1 in the tank because 2 years ago I went and I saw the tank later in the day.
It's a little gross.
And what used to be clear water was like unbelievably cloudy. And I was like, so last year I went in first. Now, the one downside to going first is that they put like hot water in. It wasn't. It was bitter cold, which I expected. After I got out of the tank, I went and got changed. I came back out, and there was a lady in after me, and she wasn't going in. And she was like 10 minutes into her shift, and she was perfectly dry. I was like, what's going on? She's like, oh, they're putting warm water in for me. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you?
Oh, that counts?
So 10 minutes of her shift.
Oh, so I just got to learn how to stall.
10 minutes of her shift.
Ask for warm water.
I'll be right back. I got to poop. Keep that clock running, though. I'll be back in 29 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, that's so bad.
All right, so back to the hockey. So you were mentioning earlier that the Flyers with a win tonight to get themselves back into a legitimate playoff spot, not just the wild card. Because right now, wild card wise, the Flyers trail the Bruins by 5 points in the standings.
Game in hand, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
No, 2 games in hand on Boston.
Yeah.
Now, the Islanders are technically the 3rd spot in the Met, right?
Yep.
And they have a game in hand on the Flyers. So a Flyers
the other way around.
Flyers have a game in hand on the Islanders. So a win tonight in regulation would put the Flyers up because of the game in hand. So they'd have, a higher points percentage at that point.
Correct.
So interesting kind of, you know what? Hold on. Sorry, I just got distracted here. I turned around. Now, I'm not trying to sell anybody here on the idea that this is a packed house by any stretch. There are more people here than I thought, given the state of emergency and the snow. Seriously, look behind us. There are more people than I expected.
Yeah, I thought it would be about half. It was my expectation tonight. I thought we would get about 8, 9, 10,000, somewhere in that range.
I think it's surprisingly strong.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes tonight. What are you pointing at? What are you doing?
Guy waved at us.
And so you just decide to point?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Guy.
Got the
I don't know who it is. Hey, good to see you. We get so many people who walk by while we're broadcasting and say hello to us.
I like to do the George W. Bush face. Do you ever see the one that like leads into Transformers, into like the Michael Bay, the what I've done? No?
No.
I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
There's a thing where like George Bush is looking around and then he just goes like this and goes, that. I'll send it to you. It's very funny.
Bundy's coming
here.
in.
Thank God.
Yeah.
It's about time. You know, this man, you know, they sometimes, you know, if you have a leak in your house, right, in your pipes, you call a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an issue with your electricity, you call an electrician. And when you need keys to the game, you don't call a locksmith. You call a Bundy. Bundy's here with his keys to the game. We'll do our predictions. It's going to be a great way to end pregame. Bundy, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Looking suave, looking dapper.
Just finished up radio, and I'm going to read these keys to the game off to you guys now.
Go right ahead.
Number 1, build off the big win and the successful road trip. The Flyers need to find momentum in the schedule and go on a run. Building off a huge win against Colorado and earning 5 out of 6 points on the road trip could be the start to this. First game after the road trip is number 2. The first period is a classic stumbling block for the first game back from a challenging road swing, especially the opening 10 minutes and the final minute of the frame. Puck management, line change execution, discipline, and goaltending need to be on point to clear these hurdles. And number 3, special teams play. Flyers need to pick up in both areas from where they left off in a rousing win over the Avalanche. For the season, the Flyers ranked 27th on the power play, 16%, and 20th on the penalty kill at 78.3%. Flyers need to rely on both the PK and the PP to find ways to secure victory some nights.
Yeah, and Bundy, you're right about that. When you look, you know, as much of a gauntlet as the schedule was the past couple weeks, it lightens up here a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make light of any of these teams because they're all right in the same mold that the Flyers are in. But when you talk about Islanders, Blue Jackets, Bruins, Kings, Capitals, Senators, to wrap up the pre-Olympic break, that's a stretch of games that you can really compile some points and give yourself a little bit of breathing room if you do really well in these
If you do,
games.
but those teams are all desperate too.
100%.
Every one of them is a desperate team. Yeah.
But I looked at it, Bundy, I said there's 6 games. That's a maximum of 12. If you get 8 points in those 6 games, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Right? 8
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
So that's the target there. All right, Russ, what do you got for a pick tonight?
Well, so I have a little bit of insight here tonight.
Go ahead.
So the Flyers are going to be, and I was double checking this before the game because I was a little bit worried, a little bit preoccupied. Actually, go to intern real quick.
Go ahead, intern.
I'll take the Flyers 3-2.
Oh, low score. Huh?
Flyers 3-2. That's bold.
Okay.
I will note the Flyers tonight are a favorite, which hasn't happened a lot this season. In the first 50 games of the season, the Flyers were only the favorite in 16 of those matchups, which is, I find, at least relatively interesting. They have the 3rd best winning percentage in the National Hockey League this season when they enter a game as a favorite on the money line. I'm oddly enough going to take the Flyers tonight. I think that they're going to continue the momentum forward from the Colorado game. I'm going to take the Flyers tonight by a relatively low score of 3-2.
That makes 2 of you with the same exact score there. You and intern.
3-2 Flyers. Yeah.
I got the Flyers winning this one as well. I think it's going to be a little bit more higher scoring than that. I think you're going to see this game open up at some point. And I will go Flyers 5, Islanders 3. Empty netter in there.
I'm sticking with the Flyers too in this one. I said that I really think this team has to go on a run to make the playoffs. I don't think winning 1, losing 1, winning 2, losing 1 is going to do it for this team. I think they need to go on a run. And what better way to do it than coming off a huge win Friday night in Colorado? I'm going Flyers 4-2 tonight.
Strong. So we've all picked the Flyers. Make of that what you will. You can, of course, drop your prediction in the comments here on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you want, you can also respond. Did the tweet go out? All right, the tweet went out over on the Snow the Goalie
No,
Twitter
I'm
account.
doing it right now.
You can drop your prediction in response to that. We will be back first intermission, second intermission, and postgame here on the Press Row Show. Do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, and we will talk to all of you in the first intermission here on the Press Row Show. Well, welcome back into the Press Road Show, the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show at the side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, west of Barcelona. Flyers went on a power play. They lost a faceoff. They failed to keep the puck in the zone. Puck got dumped in. Bobby Brink, Jamie Drysdale, unable to corral the puck. And it ends up with a beautiful wide open shot in front of the net. Sam Emerson, no chance on it. 1-0. Islanders after one. This is the Press Road Show. Bundy is here. Ant is here. Intern Andrew on the ones and twos. I'm Russ. Welcome in. Gents, how are we feeling after first 20 minutes?
Wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't an awful period by the Flyers. They did some good things. They had 2 power plays that period. I thought both power plays looked great. No results to show for it, but they really, really executed well and had full possession almost the full 4 minutes, 2 minutes each power play in the Islanders zone.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was more the second unit, right?
It was.
That second unit looked good. They looked good out in Colorado, so maybe they found a little bit of something there. The second one, though, Bundy, that's a play where, other than what happens in their own end down here, you got a simple dump into the corner.
Yep.
And Bobby Brink's got to know the guys there.
Yeah.
Like he didn't skate to the puck. He was just kind of coasting to the puck and got beat to it. And I think it was Cizikas
put a beautiful backhand
and just
out front.
Backhand out in front. Drysdale. You can't say 2 guys there. I don't think Drysdale ever expected Brink to slow up.
Right.
Like, I mean, to defend it. I mean, that's why the guy's wide open in front.
Were there 2 defensemen on the ice? I don't remember seeing it.
I don't think so.
No, so there was a forward, because the forward can get confused sometimes going back to get the puck in the corner, thinking it's a defenseman's responsibility.
Yeah.
And then just leave the job to him. But no, if he's the other defenseman, or especially on the power play, that he's got to go back full bore with 100% effort to get that puck.
Yeah, and that to me is where the mistake happens there. I don't put as much blame on Drysdale. I think that one's more on Brink. It's kind of unfortunate because, like Bundy said, other than that, the power plays have looked good. They didn't cash in, but they've created a lot of opportunities. And you start to think that maybe if they get another 2 opportunities in this game, that maybe they'll get one at some point.
Yeah. Keep the foot down on them. They played a good 5-on-5 period too. They gave up a shorthanded goal. That was a shorthanded goal that Pajot scored on that feed from Cizikas. So, but 5-on-5, I thought they were fine. They did a lot of good things. They just weren't able to get one past Sorokin.
Yep. I want to go out to intern. I was looking up a stat here, but speaking of stats, it's time for the stat of the night. I don't know what he was shoving in his mouth. I don't know if it's a tubular meat. I threw Cindy Stutman off pregame.
Do you know that Russ called the hot dog, the Cindy Stutman, the tubular meat, and she's like, "I'm still stuck on tubular meat," and he goes, "Don't you like tubular meats?"
What? Tubular meat? Who doesn't like tubular meats?
She didn't know a hot dog was a tubular meat.
Yeah, she never. Yeah, and then Ant said glizzy, and we all wanted to die.
It was just
Every single person wanted to die.
I don't know what's worse.
Like you saying glizzy is significantly worse than me saying tubular meat.
Asking her if she doesn't like them.
Who doesn't like tubular meats? Vegans? They like tubular non-meats.
I can assure you, if there's 41 regular season hockey games down here, I eat on a year at least 60 hot dogs.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Russ and I are probably almost triple digits.
Yes.
At the end of the year.
You guys are. Yes,
you guys are insane. How many hot dogs you guys eat?
I had one pregame, and I'm probably going to go get one after this. Anyway, intern Andrew's here with the stat of the night. How you doing, intern?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Great. Back in his seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did a great job while I was gone.
Thank you.
He did.
I checked in occasionally, and he did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
He was nervous about it and everything. I said,
He was. How about his open that one game?
I know he had a great open.
It was sensational.
He did. And I said to him, I'm like, there's no reason to be nervous. Like, you can do great. You always do great.
Tremendous open.
We're all about positivity around here. Intern.
Yes. All right, so the Flyers coming off of that pretty shocking 7-3 blowout against the Avalanche on Friday. Owen Tippett, in addition to having the hat trick, had an assist in that game. Coincidentally, exactly 1 week before that, Ryan O'Reilly did the same exact thing to the Avalanche, 3 goals and an assist. So Ryan O'Reilly and Owen Tippett, the only 2 players in the entire league this year that have gotten a 4-point game against the Avalanche, and they happened a week apart. And then for the Islanders, Matt Barzal coming into tonight has 358 career assists, which means he's 2 away from passing Clark Gillies for sole possession of 5th on the Islanders' all-time assist list. And by the way, worth noting, Barzal about 300 fewer games than Clark Gillies right now.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. That's interesting.
What's that?
It is.
Hall of Famer Clark Gillies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. I don't know. Barzell's always been an interesting guy to me, Bundy.
Got a lot of talent.
A lot of talent. And yet I feel like there's been a couple seasons that just seem wasted with him.
Yeah, he's a guy that gets away with a lot. Like, he's the one where the coaches allow him to take the space that he needs out there, but sometimes it backfires on him. Because he does turn the puck over, tries to make plays that aren't there, that just nobody can make. And he tries to make and puts his team under peril sometimes.
Imagine like, so it's like twice connected.
Yeah.
With the turnovers.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's like that. And they're cousins. They come from the same blood, so it makes a lot of sense, right? They're both cut of the same mold, and they're blood.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go.
All right. Well, thank you, intern.
You
That
got
was a
it.
really short stat. Usually I feel like there's more
Well, there's usually
rip off
ancillary stats, like things that he says, well, here's the stat of the night, but then did you know this? And blah, blah, blah. And then it turns into almost like a trivia question in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And then you just
Is he off his game now that he's been
he half-assed it tonight.
Is this like is this him quiet quitting? Is this like an issue that we have because now he's back to that seat?
Yeah,
Should I switch with him? Like, will he be more engaged if he's here? Do we have to switch? I'll go over there.
No, it's all right.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we do have to tell the people. If you come out to the Flyers Carnival on Sunday, assuming there is one with an impending snowstorm coming this weekend, intern will be in the dunk tank, and he's already told Cindy Stutman, Bundy, that he will not be allowing small children to run up to the thing to push and knock him into the tank.
He said he'll hold on to the side if they do that.
No, they have to earn it.
He has no clue how hard it is to try to hang on to the fencing around the
Good
dunk
luck with
tank.
that. Watch you don't break your foot.
That's right. That's right. Learn from your elders. Hey, speaking of slight changes to things that we got going on, I figured I'd put this out. We didn't say anything about it pregame. We are still doing Snow the Goalie Radio at Chickies and Pete's of Malvern on Wednesday. But because of the snowstorm, the Phantoms had to change their practice schedule.
Okay.
And so as a result, they were originally going to be sending a player or two to join us. They're not going to be able to do that now on this Wednesday. They're going to reschedule with us. We're going to do it at a later date, probably in February. I'm waiting for final confirmation on that. But we're going to have Jason join us, Martitas.
Oh, good.
Martitas going to stop out.
Happens to be
That actually helps because I won't be there. I got to do the Flyers game that night.
Yeah.
Jason does that too, though, so I don't. He's got a closer ride home.
He lives right near there.
Yeah.
That's why it works for him.
Yeah.
So he could do like the first 20 minutes with us, 25 minutes.
Yeah,
and he
okay.
can get
How about
home.
that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
It's near where I'm at, so we'll have a little bit of fun.
We'll have a little fun. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So anyway, but then Bundy, next week, we're in Marlton.
Thank God.
Next week, we're in Marlton.
God. 5-minute drive. Beautiful.
You finally got your wish.
Yeah, I got it finally.
We're
That's
in
great.
Marlton.
Hey,
next
don't
week.
worry, Bundy. I'm sure the next 3 weeks after that, we're going to be right outside of Ant's apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of his home.
I do
outside
have.
of his...
There is one in February back at Drexel Hill. But
Yeah, not surprised.
yeah.
Hey, I actually do have some bad news. Can I hit you with a little bit of bad news?
Sure.
And it's odd. I was talking to an intern about this before the game. Just like thinking about how the Flyers have done this year when they're trailing after one period, because like you never want to be down, especially early. You usually would think about it and say, well, if you trail after one period, you still have 40 minutes to rectify it. The Flyers have actually played this season the fifth most games where they have trailed after one period.
Right.
So of all the teams in the National Hockey League, they have trailed 1-0 or worse in 20 of the 50 games that they've played so far this season.
Yeah.
They have won. You want to guess how many games they've won out of that?
Well, it's like 13 or 14, right?
Way less.
Way less?
Significantly less.
Oh, wow.
When this team is trailing after one period, they have only won 5 of the 20 games.
Flyers have?
Flyers, when they're trailing after the first period.
That almost doesn't sound right.
That is correct. They are 5-11-4 in games in which they are trailing through the first period.
But what's their record when giving up the first goal?
It's probably better than that. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
that's what I was
But
telling
I'm saying
you.
trailing
Yeah.
through the first period. Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the first 20 minutes, they've only won 5 games. They have given up the first goal, and they usually are able to tie it going into the intermission,
Yeah.
or maybe even take a lead.
I mean, but still, that being said, to get 14 points in 20 games when you're trailing after one period is actually still pretty good.
It's a 350.
Right? I mean, when you think about it.
It's a 350
like
points percentage.
if you look around the league, I'm not certain how many teams are going to be better than that.
I can tell you exactly. What would you like to know?
Yeah.
It's a 350 points percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many teams are
That's 14th in the league.
really?
Yeah.
For teams trailing after the first period?
Correct. Dallas has a 625 points percentage. They have
And how many games?
12.
Huh.
If you want to go with teams that have played at least 20, the Flyers have the second highest points percentage, only behind the Devils and the Golden Knights. They've both trailed after one period 21 times this season, and they have 6 wins and 7 wins, respectively, between the Golden Knights and the Devils. Pretty interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like in terms of, if you're only trailing or if you're tied or whatever, I mean, I'll look and see later, and I should be able to find it.
Okay.
When they give up the first goal. But interesting. Oh, here you go. When conceding first, the Flyers this season have 14 wins.
I said 13.
Yeah, they've got a 516 points percentage. That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
But there's the disparity, though, right? 14 wins when they allow the first goal, but only 5 wins if they're trailing after the first period. So there's your big drop-off. The team is pretty resilient, and they're usually able to get themselves back into it in that first period. I'm not saying that's a harbinger of bad things to come. I'm just pointing out that it's pretty tough, oddly enough. You would think that it would be greater percentage of wins. Anyway, not a stat of the night, but it's certainly an interesting stat.
That is interesting. I mean, it goes to show you how, you could take some stats, regardless of what they are, and you can create narratives around a stat. But if you look at something else that's very similar, it can give you something completely different.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By comparison, the Flyers have won 8 games when tied after the first period.
Greg Mack says you're practicing for your new role on Snow the Goalie.
What's my new role?
Switching with intern Andrew. So you would be doing stat of the night, and he would be
I could do
hosting.
that. I could do that. Interesting little factoid here.
Yeah.
Want some?
Good. Was that your Andrew impersonation?
No, I would never do an impression of intern. I would never do that. I certainly would never do that.
Islanders are 12-3-1 when leading after the first period.
Who is?
So the Islanders are 12-3-1 when leading after the first period.
That's the Sorokin effect right there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, if you have a goalie that's
down,
that's that good, he's not going to lose a lot of games when he's got a lead, right? So that makes some sense. God, it's silent in here right now.
Interestingly enough, based on Andrew's stat there, that's actually only the 19th. They would be ranked 19th in points percentage when leading after the first period in the National Hockey League, even at 12-3-1. The lead. Who knew?
Well, I guess Colorado's at the top of that.
Who knew?
So
not us. Why not us?
Anyway, we're getting ready to head into the second period here, 3 minutes from before we go. Do you want to see something different there in the second period, Bundy? I kind of thought it was a decent period. I kind of think that this is one of those, hey, yeah, we had a play that went against us there. It was a mistake, but stay the course kind of thing. I think that the way they're playing is going to work.
Yeah, I don't think the coach is going to say anything about that period except that you guys did a pretty good job. We just weren't able to bury any goals. Power play looked clean. Penalty kill, I mean, you didn't really have a chance to penalty. In terms of your penalty kill, you did it once, did a good job. But, just go out and keep doing what they're doing. I mean, the goals should be able to come. Chances to the front of the net, attack the middle of the ice like they've done that period. I think continue along the same lines. I don't have anything really bad to say about the team except that one play where the goal resulted in the Islander goal.
What do you got there now?
Well,
I love you looking this stuff up.
No. I just got our lineup of people that are going to hop on the show at the Carnival.
Yeah?
And I'm confused by one of them. That's what I was giving that look for.
I guess I should look at this.
No, don't say it publicly because we also, you never know what's going to happen with the snow and everything. Snow and the not snow, and maybe there's snow, but we don't actually know. There could be Jon Snow. We love Jon Snow. Also Garth Snow. You Snow the goalie. All kinds of snow. You don't need to look right now. What are you doing?
Well, I just want to look.
No, now you're derailing things again.
I'm derailing.
You're derailing things. We had a lot of stats in this intermission. We had a lot of good hockey talk pregame, and now you're going off the rails again. Stop going off the rails. This one. I'm trying to understand that because there's something missing on that list.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is. There's something missing, and we'll talk about it
Okay.
during
That's a
during
good.
the
By the way,
it is. It's a really impressive lineup that we have.
that's a great lineup.
If that happens the way that it's supposed to, yes, that would be. Yeah,
It's a longer show than we were
it's a
anticipating,
longer show, but that's
it's
fine.
worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If we get all those
You
people,
seen that list?
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
list.
That's a good list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, all right, we'll share that a little bit later once we have a couple things confirmed. So anyway,
Bundy, there was a question in the comments section. Are you going to shave the intern's head at the carnival?
I'm not at the carnival, but we'll figure out a date to do that if we even do it. I don't want to bully him. The kid's getting older and everything, and needs his hair. He looks a little soft. I don't want to ruffle any feathers or anything. I don't want to be known as an intimidator.
oh, so good, so good. Anyway,
All right. Well, we'll bring this circus back to the air in the second intermission and post game. Do us a favor if you've done so already. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. We did have an episode that we did last week. It is available on all your favorite podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Go check that out. And, of course, you can join us here for second intermission and post game. We'll talk to all of you very, very soon here on the Press Row Show. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of anywhere that's enjoying hockey tonight. 3-0, your score after 2 periods. Yeah, do we want to talk? I guess we should talk the hockey. Anthony, find us something positive.
What is there to be positive about after that period? That was
Bundy, find us something positive.
No, there's nothing positive tonight.
What I could say though is Bundy nailed it in the keys, talking about the special teams, right? And that really has been the difference in this game. The Islanders have scored on a power play and have scored while shorthanded, and the Flyers did not stop them on the one power play and have not scored. They're 0 for 3 on the power play with a shorthanded goal against. That's the difference. And the Islanders are playing a really good road game.
Perfect road game. They
right?
played.
They really have.
They really have.
You got to give credit where credit's due. The Islanders are playing a really good game. But, you can't have those mistakes in those times. And, it's cost the Flyers. And they're down 3-0 after 2 periods.
Yeah, the Islanders have just, they haven't been dominating the game, but they've scored. They've got very, very opportune goals that they've relied on in this hockey game, and the Flyers are in chase mode now, and it makes it a little bit harder to do those things that you want to do and get away from your game plan when you fall down 3-0 like this.
Yeah. The Orange Crush here over on YouTube says,
why do you give this guy even?
I don't know. I didn't put it up. It says the only thing the Flyers are good at is being consistently inconsistent. I mean, it's not exactly wrong. I mean,
that's one of his better comments.
Okay.
Everything else is about tanking, forever and ever and ever. Evan Atkins.
You never know.
Yeah.
Is he still around?
Under different names.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Anthony's got a conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Yeah. Multiple names. Anyway.
Somebody's in Anthony's head. Somebody has burrowed into Anthony's head like a little brainworm.
Yeah.
Little brainworm.
They are, though, like Mike Butt says here, the team can be maddening because they look so good one night and they can't get out of their own way the next night. Like, that kind of is true. Andrew's laughing over there.
I mean, listen, go ahead.
I was laughing at Allison.
Oh,
she blocked him. She blocked him from the fan competition.
Atta girl. Proud of you, Allison.
This game is buns. There's not a good way to put it. Game is buns.
It's low event hockey.
Low event hockey. And there are probably 13,000 people here, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot more people here than expected. They risked life and limb to come out and watch this hockey team do whatever they're doing right now.
One person did point out, and this was I missed who it was, but this was actually a pretty good observation, whoever it was. Flyers just came back from playing playoff level competition, like at a pace.
Yeah,
playoff level pace.
Yeah,
those games against Utah and Colorado, especially those two, were at another pace, at another level that they had to get to. And then tonight is a slog.
Yeah,
the Islanders just slowed them the heck up from what they were just playing.
Yeah, they put them in the mud, made them try to skate in it. Yeah, the Islanders have been great. They've played a great road game so far tonight, and you can't take anything away from that. You got to tip your hat to the other side. They've done a great job minimizing high-end chances, really doing a great job in front of their own net. And Matthew Schaefer, how good is he? He's unbelievable. The little subtle plays he makes on the ice for a young 18-year-old is just remarkable. It really is.
Just a sensational player.
A little bit of lottery luck goes a long way. That's a potentially franchise-altering.
It is. It's not potentially. It is. It is a franchise-altering thing to get him.
He's going to be that good. Yeah.
Flyers never get that kind of luck.
He should be on the Olympic team. Schaefer.
He was
you could cut somebody and bring him on now. I would do it.
I argued that a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that he was the way he was playing was deserving.
Yeah.
And I think the Team Canada is kind of like, you got to earn your stripes a little bit, kind of.
I don't go for that.
I know.
I don't go for that.
I'm with you.
I thought Drew Doughty was kind of a questionable decision.
To take Drew Doughty over Schaefer's insane.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Insane.
Bunch of stuffy hockey guys trying to make a bunch of stuffy, stupid hockey.
Nothing against Doughty. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but at this point in his career, he's not going to be helping the team. No, he's not the same guy.
That guy.
No.
Let's go over to intern Andrew before we start getting into some more of these comments because they are flying in hot and heavy tonight. We can get there, but first, intern Andrew is here with the. Oh wait, I forgot. It's been so long. Tune up the band.
We did it with 2 instruments without you.
Have you?
By the way,
Oh, that's nice.
it was good.
You guys like, willing to go back into being,
Boom, boom,
a little trio?
Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Ready?
Glad you said it that way, Russ.
There's been some unhinged stuff tonight. Intern is here with the
Hello, everybody.
trivia time. Hello, intern.
How we doing?
Uh-huh.
So back in December, I think Ant was at winter meeting, so he wasn't here for this, but it was when the Sharks were here. And because Macklin Celebrini was playing, I asked the question for you guys to name every player that was ever a number 1 overall pick that played for the Flyers. And you guys worked your way through it. And Bundy, you said to me what would be an interesting list. Number 2 overall picks that have played here. And I said I would do the research and I would spring this question on you at a random time. Well, that is that time. So there are 7 players that were ever picked number 2 overall that played here in Philadelphia.
Pat Falloon.
Pat Falloon was my first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nolan Patrick.
Yes. That's 2.
James Van Riemsdyk.
That is 3.
How many have there been?
7.
You need 4 more.
Oh, God.
Wow.
The JVR and Nolan Patrick is enough to make me never want to watch hockey again.
That's a good one.
That's when you get a little bit of hockey.
Pronger.
Pronger was 2. Yes, he was.
Will you
yeah.
stop chewing?
I
What are you chewing?
Was Darian
It
Hatcher
was an ice
number
cube.
2?
No, he was like
Huh?
8.
Nice
Okay.
cube.
I said it was an ice cube. Darian Hatcher is not number 2.
Did any of them have a short career as a Flyer?
Yes,
How about Dave Babbage?
that is correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good pull.
Yeah.
Good pull.
Yeah.
I have the guy in
Sued the
mind,
team,
but I don't-
too. Didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah.
Sued the team
He
for
sure
an
did, yeah.
injury-related
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Did one of the guys play in like the early mid 2000s?
Yeah, I think one of them was Bundy's teammate here briefly.
Was it a defenseman?
No, forward.
No.
My teammate. What year was that? You know, or
Let me see here.
I played
You know
with
what?
Dave
I'm
Babbage.
sorry. You just barely missed him. He was here 05, 06, and 06, 07.
I played in 05, 06.
Yeah, he did. That was his last
My
year.
last year.
Okay. I'm sorry. Well, then, yeah, okay. So, yeah, 1 year then.
05, 06 Flyers.
Yeah.
Was number 2 overall pick.
In
Obviously not here. though.
1990.
Oh,
Peter Nedved.
Nedved,
Correct.
Yeah.
And we need one more.
Yeah, this is the one I don't think you were going to get. 1975. Ironically, he was drafted right after Mel Bridgman. He was drafted by the Kansas City Scouts and only played here for a couple of years.
When I was 17, it was a very good.
I don't got anything on that one.
Very
The Barry Dean.
Barry Dean.
Barry
Dean.
Ah, right on the tip of my tongue.
That's a good question, though.
Thank you.
Good question.
Intern, well done.
Nice bounce back after the laissez-faire stat of the night.
I don't think that was laissez-faire at all. It was a good stat.
Underwhelming stat of the night, brought to you by Intern Andrew. So underwhelming, you wouldn't believe it.
I thought it was good, Andrew.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was good. That was good. Wasn't that 90 draft the draft that like 9 first-rounders ended up playing for the Flyers at one point?
It was one of the best drafts of all time. And I was in that draft.
Yeah.
But if you look at like the first 3 rounds of that draft, it's unbelievable.
No, but I'm saying, like, wasn't that the one?
I remember the draft. So you had Owen Nolan went first.
Correct.
Nedved went second.
Yep.
Primo went third.
Yep.
Primo, yeah.
Okay. Mike Ricci went fourth.
Yeah,
Yep.
they all 3 played for the Flyers.
Right. Yager went fifth.
Played for the Flyers.
Scott Sissons went sixth.
Wow.
John Slaney went seventh.
Oh, no.
No, sorry. No. Hold on. Number 7, Therien Hatcher went 8th.
Correct.
John Slaney went 9th.
Correct.
Felix Potvin went 10th, or Marty Brodeur went 10th, or one of the two of them. One of them went 11th.
No.
There was a guy that went 7th. It was Scott Sissons, I said, was number 6.
He was 6.
Number 7, I should know this. He didn't have a career, I don't think. Who was it?
Daryl Sider?
Daryl
Sador.
Had a decent career.
Yeah, good defenseman for Dallas.
Yeah.
So, a couple good seasons.
Was drafted
right?
by the Kings.
Yeah, drafted
Yeah,
by
but he
LA,
played. But
yeah.
he became a good player with the Stars.
Number 9. Number 10, actually, I do know number 10. He was a defenseman that got drafted by the Maple Leafs. What's his first name?
Drake.
Drake Barahowski.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 11, or it was like Turner Stevenson.
That was 12.
Also played for the Flyers.
Yeah.
Brodeur, by the way, was 20.
Brodeur was 20. Wasn't
Yeah.
Potvin 11th or 12th or 13th? No.
No.
Felix
14,
Potvin?
15, 16, 17.
Felix, I'm not seeing him in the first round.
Wow.
Maybe it was a year before or a year after. I got mixed up.
Trevor Kidd was number 11.
Trevor Kidd.
That was
that's
the other
guy
goalie.
I'm thinking
He was
of.
a goalie.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Oh, another former Flyer. Carl Dykehouse was 16.
Yeah.
And then Keith Kachuk, 19.
19. Yeah. Who was 18? Smolinski? No, Smolinski was 21.
Yes.
Yeah.
18 was drafted by the Canucks.
Sean Antosky.
Yeah.
Also a former
Another
Flyer.
former Flyer,
Also
yeah.
a former Flyer. I told you that draft, there were so many of the first round guys played for the Flyers at one point in their career.
Look at the second round, too. The
Keep
second
going.
round's got
I
a whole
think there's
bunch of them.
more towards the bottom who also played for the Flyers. Give me the rest of the first round.
Felix Potvin was 31 overall.
Okay.
There he is.
Okay.
Do you want to just
Give me the rest of the first round.
Okay, so where'd we go? 13, Michael Stewart.
Yeah,
14,
never played.
Brad May. Mayday.
Yeah, Mayday, yeah.
15, Mark Gregg.
Played for the Flyers.
Mark Gregg.
17, Scott Allison. Did we say that already?
Yeah, he hardly played, yeah.
So I guess there was only 21 picks in the first round.
Yeah, there's only 21.
And then round 2,
Chris Simon.
Ryan Hughes, Yuri Slegger,
Yeah.
David Harlock, Chris Simon.
David Harlock was a Flyer, too. Played in the minors.
So was Chris Simon.
Chris Simon was
Chris
drafted,
Simon was drafted by the Flyers. Okay.
Yeah.
Nicholas Perreault,
Yeah.
Chris Taylor, Brandy Semchuk.
Randy Semchuk, yeah.
Oh boy, Chris Gotziaman. Gotzaman. Yeah, this is well before my time. Rod Pasma, Felix Potvin, Finnish player that got drafted by the Flames.
We're trying to get intern Andrew to read names. This is bound to go to hell.
I mean, this is
4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just counting. 8, 9, 10. 10 of the 21 first rounders played for the Flyers. And then the second round, you had Harlock, Simon,
Michael Renberg,
Jeff Sanderson, Michael Renberg, Therien
Sandwith, yeah. Now you start getting into like my group now, because the Flyers had 7 first-round picks in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. And yeah, Kimby Daniels, Bill Armstrong, both before you, but those were great picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Al Kinitsky was behind you. Was also drafted by the Flyers. So,
not a lot of guys played though after that.
Yeah, I had a few.
But do you know the draft pick that the Flyers used to pick you? Do you know who they acquired that pick from? What team?
Pittsburgh.
That is correct. Yeah.
Wow.
How about that?
Guys drafted after you with at least 500 games, Bundy, in the league. Chris Tamer.
Yep.
Alexei Zhamnov also played for the Flyers. Sergei Zubov. Gino Ojic also played for the Flyers.
Yep.
Dan
Kordic.
Well, he didn't have over 500 games, but also played for the Flyers. Richard Schmelik. That might be it. Oh, no. Craig Conroy. Jason York.
Yep.
Robert Lang. Andrei Kovalenko.
Yeah. He played here.
Played for the Flyers. Peter Bondra. Alexander Karpatsev.
Yeah.
Ken Klee. Yaroslav Modry also played for the Flyers. This draft was full of guys who played for the Flyers. Valeri Zelepukin also played for the Flyers.
Yeah.
And Sergei Nemchinov. So that's all the guys drafted after you.
Todd Reardon was a draft pick that
Todd
year.
Reardon, who coaches the Flyers, was a draft pick that year. There you go. What are you putting your head in your hands for?
You guys were just having a great time over there.
Fascinating,
Reading
right?
players.
That many players from one draft played for one organization. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Hey, we killed time in a bad period
There's
with that.
another guy who played for the Flyers, Todd Halushko.
Yeah,
Played 1 or 2 games for the team. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, join us post-game. We'll be doing 1991 next.
That's good. That's a good one. I
Yeah.
liked that. I enjoyed that.
That was fun. Tommy Soderstrom.
Yeah.
You know, they said a lot of people played for the Flyers those days. Then again, who didn't those days? Am I right? Am I right? All right, so the Flyers, I have good news. I had bad news when they were trailing after 1 period. I have good news now that they're trailing after 2 periods. Would you believe that the Flyers are tied for 3rd in the National Hockey League in wins when trailing after 2 periods?
Yes. They got their work cut out for them tonight.
Only the Utah Mammoth and the Toronto Maple Leafs have won more games when trailing after 2 periods. So there is hope.
You need 1 goal every 6.5 minutes.
Hope springs eternal.
Landros is asking, did you play with Halushko on the Olympic team?
I did.
There
yeah.
you go. Okay.
Yeah.
There's the answer.
Halushki? I love some good Halushki.
He ended up signing a free agent contract with the Flyers before I even signed and came right up to Philadelphia. Then I joined them in Hershey for the rest of that year after the Olympic team. Good guy.
You ever have Halushki? Halushki's good. It has there's like buttered noodles and cabbage and Halushki, good Slovak staple. You ever have Halushki?
No.
Okay. We'll be back post game. We won't have Halushki, and I'm not convinced we're gonna have a Flyers win to talk about, but weirder things have happened. Stick with us. We will be back post game here on the Press Row Show. In the meantime, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and brush up on your 1991 NHL draft because it may come in handy post game here.
Puck drop
On the Press Row Show.
Okay, so then 95, Senators took Brian Berard, number 1. Wade Redden went 2. Aki Berg, number 3. Chad Kilger 4. Damon Langkow 5.
Well, there's
He
your
played for
Damon
the Flyers.
Langkow's the first of
He played for the Flyers, right?
Yeah, that's the
And
first of 13 guys from that draft who played for the Flyers. There was actually a former Flyers assistant coach who was drafted in 95. Yeah,
Okay.
Rocky Thompson was drafted in 95.
Oilers took Steve Kelly 6.
Also known
Shane,
as
Shane
power
Doan
play
7.
coach.
Yeah.
Rocky Thompson, power play coach.
Power play coach.
Terry Ryan, Kyle McLaren, Radek Dvorak. I know him. Oh,
Terry
Jerome-
Ryan. What round did Terry Ryan get picked in?
He's number 8 overall.
No way, really?
Yeah. Jerome McGinley, number 11, Hall of Famer. And then Timu Rihiarvi, the Sharks. There's J.S. Shiger, 13. Jay McKee, 14. Jeff Ware. Marty Buron, Flyer.
Yeah, there's 4 former Flyers in that draft in the first round.
Brad Church, Peter Sikora, Dmitry Nabokov.
The other 2 are Dennis Gautier and Bush.
Yeah. Not related to Cutter.
Yeah, not related.
Sean Brown.
Oh, we're back, Russ, right? We're back? Post-game? Was there a game?
We did this as a joke to everybody because
Yes.
we wanted Andrew just to keep reading off the names like he did at the end of the second period. He's done now.
Joke is over. Yeah. We just had some guys said that the Flyers needed Bundy out there tonight.
That was a disappointing loss. You know what it was? You know what it boiled down to tonight? The Flyers' best players and their top performers didn't show up tonight.
Yeah,
they were invisible in this hockey game.
They absolutely were.
Completely unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, you could see like he kept running out the Coots line and the fourth line because they were the only 2 that did
Right.
much of anything.
I don't know where Zegras was tonight.
The Zegras line was invisible.
Invisible.
Noah Cates' line was practically invisible. I mean, I know Mishkov had a couple of opportunities, but that was after he was not playing with them.
Michkov with a minute 39 left, forced a turnover, tried to get a shot on net late in that game.
Yeah, it was just ugly. The first period was fine. After that, it was ugly. It just got worse. The game got worse as it went along.
This team can make you rip your hair out of your head. Like, they go into Colorado, dominate a third period against the best team, but heads and shoulders best team above everybody else. And they get out of there with a 7-3 win, dominant style in the third period. And they come home tonight and lay an egg in what was to this point
the most important game of the season.
most important game of the year.
Yeah.
There wasn't even close. This is a team you're 2 points behind. You would have been tied for third in the Metro and keep ahead of all those other teams that are right on your heels because you're sitting in 10th or 10th, I think, and you didn't put yourself up ahead in the thing. So now you're sitting standings at the bottom of the standings again of those teams that are battling for the 8th spot.
And you got back-to-back road games this week.
That aren't going to be easy. You got Columbus with a new coach. You got Boston who's playing well.
Boston is playing well. Yeah, I mean, this was the game that they had to win. You win this, it would have started that 6-game stretch before the Olympics off on the right foot. You would have been going in a good direction. You would have, now you put yourself behind the 8 ball again.
You're right behind it with a lot. Yeah, one loss in regulation is it's gonna make you feel sick.
Yeah,
watching the standings until the next game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and you could say what you want about the goaltending tonight. Like, people could say whatever they want about Sam Ersson, and maybe there's a goal or two a goal you didn't like, but that doesn't make up for the inept offense that this team put forward tonight and the effort they put forward. This was a church mouse game. Like, you couldn't hear a thing at all out there. It was like they came out with no fire in their pants at all for this game.
That first goal was emblematic of how the entire game went. A dump in when they had a power play. A dump in, they lost a foot race, wide open shot. Ersson had no chance. 1-0. That was the game.
Well, it turned out to be the game, but they were again.
I'm saying the rest of the game wasn't particularly better.
No,
I think they actually played a pretty decent first period. That was an unfortunate series of events on that one play, and then it just didn't get better.
No, it got worse. It should have gotten better, and it got worse. And again, like Bundy and I had said before, I mean, you can't. When you play bad, some of you playing bad is credit to the other team, right? I mean, Islanders played a really good game tonight. You got to give them a lot of credit. That said, the Flyers didn't have enough of a push.
They didn't. The Islanders, They played a good game, but they didn't knock your socks off. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, they played a smart game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smart. They played smart. Smart. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to give them some credit, but at the same time, the Flyers were just non-existent offensively. Just wasn't there.
I mean,
You cannot be that schizophrenic from one game to the next.
I have tried really hard this year to look for the bright side in things and to not get hyperbolic and to not go down the negativity train, because it's pretty much been the train that we've lived on since you and I started doing this 8 years ago, Ant. But I swear at some point, this bipolar nature, this whatever you want to call it, of the Philadelphia Flyers needs to change. And it feels like every freaking year it's the same thing. Oh, the team goes out on the road. They face one of the best teams in hockey. They rise above the level of what you would expect them to be able to. They win an amazing game. They come back home and they puke all over themselves. They no-show in a game that actually does have some ramifications in the Eastern Conference. It's every single year.
It's a 4-point game.
And I am sure that there are other teams in the National Hockey League who go out and do very similar things. But it is exhausting every freaking year. And now we can have the conversation at some point. Maybe this will improve. Maybe when Vladar is back, team gets a boost out of him being back in net, and they go back to being that team that they were for the first, 40 games of the season or so?
41. Actual halfway point.
And maybe we go back to the team where Rick Tocchet said, oh, guys, this is the fifth question about Michkov. What were we, 17-10? But like maybe that was a bit of an aberration, and maybe what we've seen the last 10 games or so is really what this team is. They are a middling team that can win games, win a surprising game against Colorado, and then come back home and just no-show on home ice against a team that, yeah, to Bundy's point, they would have been tied for third in the Met, and I think because of the game in hand, point percentage-wise, they would have taken that spot, and instead it's now a 4-point game, and now you have gone from what could have been leveling on points to 4 points behind the Islanders, and the negative sentiment among fans who say we are back on the hamster wheel again, they're going to get louder. So the Flyers have to do something here. I just don't know what they can do.
There's nothing they can do, Russ.
Yeah,
There's nothing they can do.
I don't think there is.
There's nothing they can do. They got to play through it. They got to figure it out themselves. And again, like they went, you could say you want about Urson, but if you had Vladar in that, he wouldn't have got you better than 5 out of 6 points on the road trip either.
No, I don't think so.
No, I mean, that's as good a result as you're going to get on the road. Yeah.
Bundy, like, thinking back to your playing days, I'm sure you played for teams that had some of these, like, maddening moments, but, like, how the hell does it happen that you go and you have that successful of a road trip, you're coming off the high of beating a team like Colorado, and then you no-show here? Like, what goes through a player's mind?
Well, there's always that first game back from a road trip. I don't like making excuses. I don't want to make excuses for this game because I'm really disappointed and pissed off how it went, because I think the Flyers had more to give here tonight, and they let the Islanders just skate off with a super easy 4-0 win on the road. The Flyers had no pushback the entire night. Nothing. They gave nothing back to them at all. And how does that happen? I don't know. It's been a mystery with this group. It really has. It's been the same collection of the core at the top for several years. And I mean, you have to start looking at that, right? Like, what are we? What are we doing? Where are we going? But these are the games where this is where you make your hay. If you're getting paid a lot of money, these are the games they need you for. That's the bottom line.
It doesn't feel like a single one of them showed up tonight.
Not one. I can't think of one player that's an impactful hockey player on this team that had a good game tonight and tried to make a difference in this game.
No.
None.
And
even the supply guys like Emil Andre, he had
some bad turnovers.
Boy,
night,
Bundy and I were kind of talking about him briefly here in the third period. He's nosedived here.
3 weeks ago.
I mean,
is where it really
it's been a
like
bit. It's been a bit.
Like, been longer than 3 weeks.
Yeah, it might be even longer. Yeah, it's been a bit. And I wonder how much longer the Flyers can keep going to him. Like, I think that you might have to try something different there. It just makes one bad play after another. It's positional stuff too.
Yeah, and he does it like he didn't make the team to start. Then he got called up and he was playing great.
Yeah.
Yep. Moving the puck, defending hard. Just make the first pass. We don't need him to do anything else. Now he's fumbling the puck. he's not making the right decisions with the puck coming out of the D zone. They're ending up as turnovers, going back to the net, shots on net.
Gets caught flat-footed.
Yeah, big time.
Right?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I mean, look, he was always like a guy that they felt still needed a little bit of development, but they thought that he deserved a spot here to give it a shot. I don't know how much. Again, I don't know how much longer you can ride that. Right?
They don't have a lot of better options, do they?
You don't, but I mean, you have. I mean, look, you have guys coming, right? So, you can plug in Noah Juleson for a little bit, and look, Murchison's hurt, so that you can't go to him. Bonk's coming. Like I think you might see Oliver Bonk at some point before the end of the season.
Really?
You might.
That feels like a bit of
Is that a
rush,
guess
though.
or?
It's a guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not been told to me.
I'm going to say no to that.
I think
I would be surprised, especially because he had a late start to the season.
Yeah.
I'd be really shocked.
And I think he has to dominate the American League for them to make that call.
You might, but if let's just say you kind of fall out of this thing.
Well, then you can give him a look.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
but we're not. I'm not talking about that yet.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
No, I'm
All
saying this team's still in the thick of it. They got to figure it out quick, or there's going to be, it's going to be like a big steamy pile here real soon if they don't figure it out. I said, the other night to Jason Martinez on radio, I said it's one thing if you can let losing 7 out of 8 games define your season, like to say, okay, we put an end to it, which they did against Colorado, like that trip they did good. But when you start getting into like losing 12 out of 15. That's when you don't want your season defined by, because if that's the case, you're done.
Yeah.
You're cooked.
Yeah.
And this was another step in the wrong direction tonight.
You said short, Russ. We kept it short.
I like to go short, but I'm fired up tonight.
You know why? It was a faster game tonight, Bundy.
It was. It ended at like 9:36.
That's a rarity in this building.
So in here, yeah, I think it's only Philadelphia. I don't think it's a game. I think it's the officials that run this building.
Could be.
Why do games end at like 10 o'clock some nights? It's crazy.
We actually had a fast one tonight.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, we can get out of this building. It had been, not a lot of traffic. It was a smaller crowd because of the weather. People left early. We're like, yeah, get home at a reasonable time, Russ, right? And yeah, you're just sitting there in stunned silence.
I'm actually kind of mad at myself.
Well, for what?
I fell into the trap for 41 games. I genuinely thought that this team had figured out a way to get over the inconsistent hump.
Well,
and that they were poised to make like not a legitimate playoff run, but like certainly to be very much in the mix and not on a collision course with a hockey purgatory. I thought we were past that.
Well, there was
this last few weeks. Thank God I was in Europe and I wasn't plugged into it, because I think I would have lost my mind fully. But to look at it now, to listen to the conversation we're having, I'm getting PTSD to the Dave Hackstall days, the Elaine Vigneault days, to some of the Torts days.
I won't go back that far.
I'm over it. They got to figure it out, and by the way, you have to figure it out soon. You got to figure it out one way or the other. This cannot be a repeat of 2 years ago, where you're going down to the last 2 weeks of the season and then you fall off, and now you're back to picking at 14. That can't be it. You got to go one way or the other. And if it's going to fall apart, it needs to fall apart, and you got to figure it out. If you're Danny Briere, are you going to let it free fall? And maybe you do. Are you going to try to make a couple of moves? I don't know what that looks like. I don't think it's highly advisable, nor do I think he would. Or are you going to lean on these vets? Bundy, this is the thing that I get frustrated with. It's the same core. You said it yourself. It's the same core. It's a lot of the guys at the top that are the highest paid players that are expected to do better than this. At some point, they've got to get over this wild inconsistency. Grow the hell up. You're not 24 anymore. You don't have Claude Giroux and Jake Voracek and Wayne Simmons kind of taking some of the shots for you. Like, it's time to put up or shut up. I don't know who's going to be the one to like stand in that locker room and get these guys back on track. And it maybe seems a little bit overreactionary after a successful road trip. But man, a night like tonight takes all of the good feeling and all of the goodwill that I think they earned from the fans over the weekend. I think tonight just kind of wipes it out.
Yep. I agree.
So we shall see. I hope it gets better. I think we all do. And on that, it's time to end. We will be back on Saturday,
Maybe.
depending on the snow.
I saw something to another 15 inches.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Come on.
They're saying it's going to snow Saturday into Sunday, like 2 full days.
Anyone else seeing 15 inches of snow in this area on Saturday, Sunday?
Those are some early. It's hard to predict. I'm not a weather person, right? But I do know several of them. It's hard to predict snow totals 6 days out.
Yeah.
I will say, though, this last storm they nailed. Like, at least what I was reading, like a full week in advance, was like, hey, you're probably looking around a foot of snow.
Yeah, well, it ended up being less than that here. I mean, you might have gotten more up in God's country where you live, but they changed their totals for the city, and they said it was going to be 8 inches, and then you're going to have some icing on top of that, right? But they originally were saying it was 10 to 14, and they pulled it down, and they got it right. They did get it right. But you can't really make projections on snow totals until you get to probably within 72 hours. At that point, you can start making guesses. So I would say by midweek we'll have an idea of what our weekend is going to look like.
There are jokes to be made. I won't make them. All right.
So yeah, it'll be a minute till we see you, Bundy, because you got to do radio Wednesday.
Yeah, I won't see you guys Wednesday. It's too far of a drive for me to get there and then get back to do radio for 97.5.
Yeah, so. It's too much. But Russ and I will be at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania.
Good
6
stuff.
o'clock.
6 o'clock on Wednesday. Be sure to come out and say hi if you're out in the Chester County area.
Mm-hmm.
We were out there.
It's actually right off the turn. So if you're coming into Malvern, it's right off the turnpike.
Yeah, it is.
There's an exit like right there, and then you make a right.
It's right there,
and then a left.
Yeah, it's literally right there. Yeah, we were out there. We were out there at the very beginning. I think was that our first.
That was the first show.
Our first show on the Wednesday show was out there at that one. So
it's a nice spot.
First time back there since October.
I'm gonna miss my son's band concert for this.
Luca,
it is the first concert I have ever missed. Did you know that years ago?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Get him in a sport, Russ.
You ready for this? Well, he's in a sport. I don't know, but
get him in a real sport.
2 years ago, I had an invite to go to a
Did they go to band camp in the summer?
Will you shut up? 2 years ago, I had an invite to go to a Billy Joel concert, like at a suite for a company that we work with.
Cool, yeah.
And it was like one of the residency at Madison Square Garden.
Awesome.
Happened to also be my son's first ever orchestra concert. So I bailed on the Billy Joel concert to go see my son play the cello. And if you don't think that I've used that over my son for the past 2 years, you don't know me.
You know what I told him? Bundy? I said, what? you know how many of those concerts and things that I missed over the years? And he was like,
he's trying to make himself feel better.
No, but the thing of it is like the kids, kids are resilient. They're not going to sit there and go, "Oh man, Dad sucks. He didn't come to my concert." It'd be different if you missed them all, right? If you just never went, then that's being a bad parent. But you,
wow. Imagine having the privilege to say that, Anthony. There are people out there right now who may have never gone to any of their kids' concerts.
Yeah, but if you went Billy Joel, instead of that, like that would be, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
the Billy Joel concert would have been pretty badass, though.
It would.
My son actually did look at me and was like, "Why did you go to my concert?" And I was like, "Because I love you."
Yeah,
that's great. Ugh, kids.
So
anyway. we'll be doing Snow the Goalie radio at Malvern, Chickies and Pete's Wednesday night, and then Saturday, if there's not 10 inches of snow on the ground,
back here for the Kings on Saturday.
The Kings.
But there'll be 2 games in between on the road. Be sure Wednesday they're in Columbus, Thursday in Boston. So.
And then Sunday, we're here for the Flyers Charities Carnival.
A busy week.
Yeah, busy week.
Busy week.
We will keep our fingers and Tootsie Toes crossed. We get to throw intern Andrew into the dunk tank. What happens if there is snow? Like, what do they do at the Carnival? They'll
cancel it.
There's not like a rain date.
They might have a rain date set, but if it's heavy snow, they'll postpone
it. That's why
we didn't have the heart to ask Cindy Stutman. But
I did.
No, well, you were kind of like, she said, well, we're just going to keep our fingers crossed. But I'm wondering, do they have a date set? I hope they do. Anyway.
And we got to remember, building availability is a thing, and, the player schedule. They don't like to have something after a certain point in the season because, you're trying to, make it down the stretch. Like, you don't want to have it be too late in the year. So, I mean, there's a limited window to make it up, and they may not be able to. So we'll see.
So 96, Chris Phillips, Andre Zuzin, Jean-Pierre Dumont, Alexander Volchkov,
Yeah.
and then Rick Jack